Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today is February 16th, and right now we are looking at the mid-level water vapor loop. We've got our system pivoting across the region right now. We still got winter storm warnings up for the mountains. Plain old rain west of the mountains, warming up into the lower 50s, and places like Spokane, it is still snowing out there. It continues to pile up, and we'll take a look at what is to come here as we go through this upcoming week. We got atmospheric river potential. We got some windy conditions here potentially as well, and we'll dive into all those details as we go through the video here this morning. Looking back at 365 days ago, look at that, 61,000 subscribers. We're now up towards 95,000. And look at this jump when that big bomb mid-latitude cyclone was set up off our coastline there as we went through November there. So yeah, anyway, thanks to everybody who's been subscribing. Thanks to all my supporting members. If you want to help support the channel, click on the join button down below as well. Now, looking at things currently, if I zoom in a little bit, you'll see Seattle's at 40. There's Portland at 40 degrees. Astoria is at 51. Tillamook at 50. Salem is at 50. But look at Spokane, 27 degrees. It's still snowing out there. They've got 6 inches of snow on the ground at the airport right now, and 26 degrees snowing in Wenatchee. There is freezing rain ongoing here at Walla Walla right now. It is below freezing, so watch out for those slick conditions. The ice is accumulating on surfaces out there. Pendleton, same thing as well. That coating means there's 2/100 of an inch of ice accretion in the last hour, so be very careful out there. Winter storm warning still across some of the Idaho Panhandle into western Montana. Look at Mullen Pass, 20 degrees and snowing as well. And if we go ahead and look towards Lewiston, it's still light snow right now, even though you are slightly above freezing at 34 degrees. And if we look at Spokane, you can look back in the coding there and see at, I think that was 4 a.m. this morning, 6 inches of snow on the ground at the international airport there. So yeah, it just continues to pile up. Spokane, the Portland National Weather Service, what we're looking at here though. Beach hazard statements. Still, if you're going out to the coast today, watch out for the sneaker wave potential. Heads up for that. Winter storm warnings continue on in through tomorrow morning across the Oregon and the Washington Cascades. And Seattle kind of showing you the winter storm warnings there. You can see above 2,500 feet for the Washington Cascades. Between 8 and 16 additional inches through tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Monday. Holiday weekend snow totals still got maybe another couple inches to go here for Spokane. And again, you see some of the snowfall amounts across Pullman, some of the higher terrain. Look out past, could get another foot of snowfall here as we go through Monday night. Pretty snowy here for western Montana as well over the next few days, and some of central Montana. Will show you that here in a moment. But heads up, you guys saw that freezing rain occurring this morning, and it's that black ice out there that makes things really slick. Eventually conditions will be warming up, but in the meantime, you saw that freezing rain is occurring. And looking across Montana, look at this Helena, 3 to 4, and again on Monday, additional snowfall amounts, especially across the higher terrain. But look at Billings, some pretty hefty snowfall amounts. If you're traveling off across Montana, or if you're out across Montana right now, expect the snow is going to be accumulating all the way through Monday. And taking a look at Boise, right now, 1 inch of snow on the ground there, 38 for the high yesterday. Traces snowfall, over 10 inches of snow for the month of February so far. Portland, Oregon, 3 inches of snow. 2 inches of snow was on the ground still yesterday, but no doubt that's going to be melting down quite considerably as we go through the day today, starting to warm up into the 40s. Seattle, Tacoma, 2.3 so far for the month of February. No snow on the ground right now. But look at Spokane, officially 5 inches of snow on the ground. That will be 6 as of this morning and the next ob, and over 10 inches of snowfall officially at the international airport there, Spokane. Now, taking a look here, if you guys want an affordable home weather station, click on that link down below. It stores all the data for you in the cloud. It helps support the channel. So yeah, highly recommend that one. Taking a look here at 2-meter temperature. So you can see what's going on eastern Washington, eastern Oregon. You are getting a bit of freezing at times today, but then the overnight lows are going to allow for some refreezing of surfaces out there. So be very careful, especially in the morning hours. When you wake up, things are bound to be slick out there. And if you look west of the Cascades, we are talking about temperatures not going below freezing anymore, even in the overnight lows. So that is good here for western Washington and western Oregon. But still, some of the snow flying across the higher terrain as we go on and through the day tomorrow. Now, taking a look at what is to come here. This is last night's European run, 00Z. I just want to kind of show you that we're dealing with this system now, and then we get kind of these transient ridges. This next system starts to roll in midweek. Again, kind of a transient ridge there before the Gulf of Alaska really starts getting churning as we go towards the end of next week. And again, this has atmospheric river potential. Strong ridge down here versus the Gulf of Alaska. Deep, low, powerful southwest moist flow back into the Pacific Northwest round after round. A enough precipitation as we go through the second half of February. I'm going to show you some of those totals here in a moment. But there's one atmospheric river that we're kind of watching. So we're going to scroll on in through this upcoming week. There goes that system. And this is the one we're watching as we start to go on in towards the day Thursday. See it impacting western BC, start to drop down across some of western Washington. And then this next one here as well as we go through Thursday, kind of bouncing back and forth there with some very heavy precipitation amounts. So yeah, we have to really watch some of these systems. Flooding potential. There would be landslide potential coming fast and furious across western Washington mainly. Some of this does clip western Oregon though, but a little bit lesser amounts. And western BC is really under the gun here as well as we go through this upcoming weekend. Now, if we take a look at 6-hour precipitation and mean sea level pressure, so we'll put this into motion. There's this system continuing some of this precipitation all the way on in through the day tomorrow through Monday night. Still some of the snow flying across some portions of eastern Washington, Oregon, Idaho, western Montana. You can see the Arctic boundary hung up there, mainly east of the Rockies with that very cold air there, but that's going to be a prolific snowmaker as we go all the way on in through Tuesday night. And then let me back that up here because then you can see the additional systems coming to the Pacific Northwest. These could be blustery at times as well. Another fairly robust frontal system as we go through the midweek period, then kind of a little bit of a warm frontal action there, keeping some of the rainfall going. And then you can see this one has an atmospheric river as well, a fairly robust low and a robust frontal system would accompany that one. And then look at this sinister one all the way back towards the north area of the Hawaiian Islands, just north of the Hawaiian Islands, back into the Pacific Northwest, bouncing around there. That could be a very substantial precipitation maker as well, with additional systems coming in after that. We'll see how that lines up here. But I made this post yesterday, and just kind of something interesting there. 10 trillion gallons of water was showing up there for western Oregon, western Washington over the next 2 weeks or so. And a lot of that actually falls before the 2-week period here. So just something kind of fun I like to do, make people think. But if we look at what happened after that model run there, total precipitation in inches, this is just through hour 210. And you can see this is only February 24th. Look at Seattle, 5.5 inches. We've only gotten officially 7/10 of an inch of rain so far for the month of February. So you can imagine that. Huge amounts incoming here. And some of the Vancouver Island, Southwest BC, the Cascades, the coastal range all the way down into Oregon, just getting some very prolific amounts and still very wet for Portland and a lot of the Willamette Valley as we go on into the February 24th timeframe. And also take note of that rain shadowing that does occur east of the mountains, but still not some bad totals out there for these individual areas overall speaking. Now, if we look at the ensemble mean, you'll see that the agreement is very good as we go out through hour 300 there. This is about through February 20, I think it's 28th. We don't have a leap year this year. That is correct. And so big time precipitation totals coming in here and probably going to finish many areas above normal here for precipitation amounts. And when this comes fast and furious, you got to deal with the flooding concerns as well. So this is top-down view of an atmospheric river. So you can see the integrated vapor transport. You can kind of see the core of that atmospheric river there, and it shows you the cold front kind of almost stationary here hanging back off to the south and west. But you can imagine maybe Washington, Oregon, and BC are up over here in the Pacific Ocean atmospheric river. But the interesting view of this is if you look at the vertical cross section. So this is imagining yourself out over a barge in the Pacific Ocean, looking back towards Washington, Oregon, or British Columbia. And you can see that this is not that high. You're talking about 3,500 meters there. And you can imagine Mount Rainier is taller than this, for example. And the Cascades, if this atmospheric river is slamming into there, you can see why all this moisture gets wrung out there as it moves into the higher terrain. So that's why you get the big rain shadowing effect downwind. Again, this is a vertical cross section looking from basically from west to east here. So if we take a look at accumulated positive snow depth change in inches, some of these systems are going to be a bit on the warm side here, but the net gain should be positive for the snow across the higher terrain as we go through about Friday night. But we'll see what that next atmospheric river is going to do as well, because things could be warming up. We could be eating away at some of that snowfall as well. So this just goes to Friday night. The really big atmospheric river is still after this time frame here. So not bad conditions out there at times, but always check avalanche.org before you go. I thought I'd show you this one as well. This is the GFS. You have to really get your glasses on if you want to check this one out. But this is all the ensemble members between 1 and 30. And you can see the very good model agreement between the GFS with just kind of highlighting the big amounts across Western BC, Western Washington, and Western Oregon. Virtually every single ensemble member has substantial precipitation amounts. A very good model agreement on the very wet period coming up here for the Pacific Northwest, especially Cascades and West. So here's the 6 to 10 day temperature outlook. More of that southwest warm flow showing up, and kind of a mixed bag here. Again, you can see the sharp cutoff there right across Oregon, Idaho, and Montana, with the above average across Washington up into BC. 8 to 14 day as well. And again, that mixed bag signal here across the region. So looking at snow water equivalent right now, we're still below average here across Washington, some of Idaho and Montana. Oregon still at or above average so far. So again, we'll see just how warm some of these systems are and see if our some of our snowpack is going to get eaten away, or if we can do an overall net gain on that as we go over the next week or two. And avalanche.org, check before you go. We got considerable avalanche danger out there for some areas. You can click on these individual areas and get the forecast. It'll even show you, middle elevation, upper elevation, and lower elevation, and what you can expect. They show all kinds of nice, photos out there. They tell you what's going on and what the problems are and what to look for. So really good stuff there, avalanche.org. And Drought Monitor will continue to watch for our next update here. And getting some pretty good snows here across western Montana and Idaho. So hopefully we can eat away at this extreme drought here over in the next week or two. Percent of average precipitation so far the last 90 days. And once we get to the end of September here, then I'll be able to show you this and say, okay, this is what our winter did average. But you see that we are still below normal here for a lot of Western Oregon and a lot of Western Washington. Not bad here east of the mountains, but this is a percentage of average precipitation. A little bit of a tongue twister there. And you can see that, you're not getting as much rainfall here at Cascades as you do at Cascades West. So you can see these numbers can be skewed. If you average, 5-6 inches during this time frame here, you're only, 5-6 inches above average, but the totals are much greater there. So this deficit is a little bit more concerning here for the Cascades West right now. But again, percent of average precipitation for the last 90 days shown there. This is average temperature departure from average over the last 90 days as well. So when you get to end of February here, then we'll be able to say, hey, the winter was either above normal or right at normal or below normal. And you can kind of see it's a mixed bag right now. Some of Western Washington, Western Oregon have been below normal so far this winter, kind of what we expected during a La Nina year. And the signal is not too striking, even though we just went through this very cool period. But yeah, interesting stuff there. You can kind of check that out if you like. But what else? I can't wait to see what these systems are going to bring. That atmospheric river towards next weekend looks quite sinister. We'll continue to watch that and see what kind of changes we get in these weather model runs coming up, because it's been pretty persistently showing that atmospheric river rolling in. And as I showed you, like the GFS and the ensemble members really are coming into agreement there. The Europeans been showing it consistently as well. So we'll start to watch for that. We'll start to get into some more detail on that here over the next few days as well. Rambling on a bit here, so I'll kick this video out to you guys. Hope you guys are having a good day. Otherwise, click like and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys again tomorrow.